it's Jennifer Trask from jennifer-trask.com, and I am here with Dr. Laura Nurse. Welcome, Laura.
Hi.
And I'm really excited for you to be here and for Laura to be here because today we're going to talk about Dr. Laura Nurse's story of success, essentially how she built her practice full-time, and you're going to learn about kind of what happened throughout the year to really help her get to a place where I guess now, Laura, you have built it full-time to your capacity. You have built a great reputation in the community here. You're now in a place where you're moving into phase 2 of growth, like building a team and all that good stuff to figure out how you can help more people. And you're happy with your practice and you feel like you know what you're doing now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Laura also...
Well, I always knew what I was doing with my patients.
Right, with
knowing
patients.
what I'm doing with my business.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So that's some of the success that Laura has seen in just a little over a year, about a year and a quarter, you said it took. And Laura was a client of mine for that first year. And so I'm so happy we're sitting here today. I love success stories. They really inspire people and they make me really happy. And you're helping so many people with your practice. And I'm lucky because she lives in my town. So I know so many people who are very happy with her as a doctor. So with that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you a couple questions now.
Of course.
And I'm going to turn it over to Laura to let her tell you her story. So why don't you let everybody know, I guess, where you were in your business when we met, which was in May 2013 now.
May of 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, talk about divine coincidence in meeting you at that time, actually. In my practice, I had been practicing part-time for about a year, and part-time at that time was 1 day a week. And I had just moved into the office space that we're in today, and had expanded to 3 days a week of operating. There were days during that first little bit of time prior to meeting you, I would sit here and, one client in a full 8-hour day. So I would spend my time doing what I thought was marketing.
Right.
And it wasn't.
It's okay.
It was more like fooling around on Facebook.
Okay. I think we've all been guilty of that.
Absolutely. But with Jennifer's help, we came up with a few sort of guerrilla marketing tactics. The physiotherapy
that's right.
brochure sheet that we did, the one-pager, that went out. We came up with a few things to get clients going now, which started the ball rolling and really helped me learn how to talk to other business owners about business things through that. So, I mean, I hate to say that all of my physiotherapy contacts were guinea pigs, because they weren't guinea pigs, and I still have those contacts, but I was very much learning how to present myself as a business owner.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And I still say this now, as a doctor, I feel very confident, right? I can help you with your health and your symptoms and concerns, no problem. But it's, as a business owner, I'm learning, and that learning curve was so steep, especially just starting out, And you, like I said, divine timing, you just came in at that time when I really needed someone to
always delivers.
So that's what, don't do this, do this, or do this, but structure it this way.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, so that's really good. And I'm actually glad you brought up that point, because I was creating some content for a course that I have, and that's one of the things I talked about in the offline piece of your marketing, is that getting used to actually presenting yourself and talking to people and talking to prospects, and like really getting comfortable in your skin as this coach, this business owner, this doctor. I think that because that in itself is going to help elevate your business, because it'll give you the confidence to do other things.
Well, it's the big C, right? Confidence. It precedes everything.
Totally.
Right? What you're doing. And it really helped, because it was like a crash course in networking, actually, was what you gave me.
Yeah, I love networking.
For pushing me out to go through all these things and all these introductions. And, you know, I didn't even know how to send an email introduction before you sent me one to someone, right? Like all of those sort of things that I'm sure other business owners kind of went, oh, okay, yeah, that was really simple, but for me, I had no idea,
Right.
How to do that or how to structure it, and it's evolved over time, but from that to just cold calling someone scared the boots right off me. Right? I had no idea how to call up those physiotherapists and go, so can we arrange a coffee? Is that okay? Right?
Oh, right, this is in the guerrilla marketing tactics.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, okay, right.
Yeah, so it was a quick start.
It was a quick start,
that,
but you really need to make some cash. I remember that one. Yeah, okay.
But those skills will last me a lifetime and go on beyond business to just, parties, people, networking, friends, whatever, introducing other people. Like, I know that one skill. If being able to network comfortably, that one skill, honestly, would have been worth it for me. But I got so much more that I know
good. Although networking is important, and I always highly recommend networking. Yeah. Okay, so what do you think? So you went from sitting in your office for 8 hours, maybe having one client a day, to full-time practice to your capacity in a year and a little bit, plus a beautiful brand, an online presence. You know how to network. It's all good.
The beautiful brand that you helped me create.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. I love it too. It's gorgeous. Yeah. But what do you feel were some of the most pivotal distinctions that really helped you get to this place now in your business today?
In terms of the journey and the process, I suppose one was. You're going to laugh when I say this. The first one was identifying my ideal client.
Okay. No, that's a big one.
Right? And it is. And I know you're going to laugh because she pushed me on it so hard. As a primary care physician, I'm trained to field anything that comes in the door, from osteoporosis to pediatrics to dermatology to gastro to whatever, right? And so I just came out of the gates going, I can help everybody.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah, and that was really, it took a long time, I think, to nail it home, because I think we've decided I'm probably your most stubborn client yet. But when we did finally decide on women's health and the hormonal piece, and knowing that that's actually what I love is getting into, well, how does the thyroid relate to the cortisol? Not like I do that anyway.
Yes.
But how to take that portion of who I am and put it on paper into marketing so that it portrayed who I am. Right? But that couldn't have happened unless I had defined the niche first. Right? Because you've got to, like you have taught me, talk to the person that is your ideal client.
Yes.
So defining those 3 or 4 ideal clients was really important. And it also allowed me to say no to people. Yes. Right? Which are 2 really big lessons from that one exercise strategy. Whatever. Yeah.
Well, I guess it was just, it's a part in the system to make it all work. It's part of that laying the foundation is your ideal client and knowing who you're going to serve. And I'm glad you said that too, because if anyone's watching, if you are someone who says yes too much, you're probably overwhelmed and overworked and always on someone else's schedule. I think that is one of the best new things to implement this year. To say no, to start saying no, makes massive difference.
Well, and I think what it was for me was it gave me the understanding of when to say no. Right. Yeah. Because if somebody didn't fit the ideal client, and I mean, you're probably going to grumble at this, but I still do accept people's husbands and other things once I help them and that sort of stuff. I abhor having to turn anybody away, but I don't market actively to them. Right. And so if they come and they find me, otherwise that's fine, but I'm not going out looking for them. I'm going out looking for my ideal clients because they're the ones I want to spend the most time with because I enjoy it.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's one thing I've said to a lot of people, because a lot of people are in your shoes where they don't want, they feel like it's narrowing themselves, right?
Like pigeonholing yourself.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing I say is, this is about your marketing. If you're still in business and someone who's not your ideal client comes to you, it's still your choice as a business owner to take them on if you want. So as a coach, if you feel like you can help them and you want to because you can, then go for it.
Yeah.
But you never market to them because that's wasting your money.
Yeah, because there's too much going on everywhere, and it's, but being able to, like you said, market to that ideal client, which gives you the license or the confidence to know when to say no to things, because you have your ideal client and you'll know whether or not that's going to help them.
Yeah.
And it not only coordinated my thinking about marketing, but it also coordinated the message that I've put out there, right?
Yes,
definitely. So I guess to sort of summarize on that question, it was really the nailing down the ideal client that made the big shift for me.
Right.
That was big. The other part that I wonder if maybe you didn't realize you quite did it, but you gave me a bit of a kick in the pants for like, well, no one's going to do it but you, babe. I remember this one time we were talking about guerrilla marketing tactics over the holidays.
Right.
And you were like, you could have this excellent referral program and send all these Christmas cards out to all of your current clients and your potential clients and whatever. And I'm like, but that's like 100 cards.
Oh my God, I remember this conversation.
And at the time I was like, it was a mountain that looked like this tall. I was like, 100. I can't, and then I have to mail, and it was so silly. Like, obviously you can write Merry Christmas, Dr. Nurse 100 times, and it's not going to take that much time, but it just, it was one of those funny things that I remember going, oh, right, this is one of those things that you just do. You don't have anybody to do this for you yet.
Yeah, no,
right?
No, that's right. That's so funny because I sent a lot of Christmas cards out this year.
Good.
And everyone, I booked it in my schedule to make sure that got done because I enjoy the handwritten cards. They're so nice. So okay, that was a good one.
So, which actually I didn't send Christmas cards this year. I rethought it strategy wise.
Okay.
And I'm sending Happy New Year cards.
Oh, I love it.
Patients with New Year's resolution. So, do you want to get back on the health thing this January? So it'll work as a marketing tool as well, right?
Yes.
Without being too face and eyes into it, because everybody's looking for New Year's resolutions later.
And for all the coaches watching this, that is a good marketing idea. And very simple, but also thoughtful at the same time. And it's a value-added marketing piece, which is really what it's all about.
Yeah,
it's a win-win. Okay, so one of the biggest things for you was from a niche. Now, I know for you, so when I work with clients, we work really on branding, marketing, and mindset. And that was a big one for you, I know. Huge. So let's move to some of the concepts that were the big game changers, maybe the top 2 or 3 that you felt were really good shifters for you.
Ooh. Well, I think the first one was around, certainly around my attitude with money. Right, my attitude with money was terrible, and it's still in rehab.
It's in rehab.
It's still in rehab.
At least it's in rehab and not out on the street.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. It's it was funny. You had given me, I don't know if you give all of your clients, but you had given me that book by Lynn Twist.
Yes, The Soul of Money, which I still recommend. Great book.
I'm going to reread
it
this year.
Yeah, great book.
It really helped me stop and take a look at sort of how I was treating money and behaving around money and what I felt I was worth charging, as well as, my ideas of what I felt things should or shouldn't cost and that sort of stuff in terms of whether it was expenses for the business, like marketing, right? Being an expense versus, clinic tables and all the gear and other things that you need. And it was interesting because when I really looked at it, if you had told me this widget was worth $50, I would probably look at the widget and say, oh, I get more than $50 value out of that, so I'd spend more than $50 if I was purchasing it. But I would always discount my own service. Right?
Yes.
And so it helped me shift to understanding what a client would look at me and pay for.
Right.
Versus what I felt I was worth.
Right.
Right? At the time. So that was huge, you know, when you're start off as a physician at about $100 an hour, and to go up from there and have a plan to go up from there, it's a little bit scary.
Sure.
And it's especially scary when you're stepping out of the you know, status quo rate for the industry in your city. And so that still kind of, it's a 2-step forward, 1-step back process for me, but I think that's how I do everything.
Yeah. Well, you know, we all take a few steps forward and back sometimes. Now that's a big one.
That concept was huge.
That's a big one.
Right?
Money is big for everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had a client yet who's like, I'm master money. They probably wouldn't be my clients. Because they have, honestly, it is one of the biggest mindset setbacks.
Yeah.
Because we live in a world, an environment of scarcity and lack, and we need to be in the world of abundance and more than enough.
Yeah.
So
well, in a world that is inherently creative versus inherently scarce, right?
Absolutely.
And I still catch myself even now, kind of, if I'm stopped and self-aware enough to pay attention to that while I'm purchasing something. You know, I'd always, if I was buying something for the clinic and I all felt guilty about it, I'd buy it really quick so that it was less pain.
Right.
Right? And I'd still feel good. But I've slowed down and started to really feel grateful for the things that I purchase, because it allows me to help my patients, right? Whether that's file folders at, you know, the local office supply store, or it's, you know, acupuncture needle, whatever. Doesn't matter. The big things and the small things.
Absolutely.
Right? So the mindset around money was really huge. And I suppose too that idea, second to that, would have been the idea of like alignment and following your own, going to the beat of your own drummer, so to speak, right? And
system.
Yeah, that internal like sense of, no, this is where I'm heading as your primary guide, versus, oh, but this marketer or blogger says I should do this, and this one says I should do this, and this, and it was, and you can chase everybody else's path in circles all day long. Totally. Right? Yeah. So what I think was really, really great out of all of the work we did was that you sort of helped me clear out all of that mental belief crap. Yeah. Excuse me. I shouldn't have said that.
No. But this is my space, and we swear here.
There's going to be a NSFW on the bottom of the screen.
Not for children.
Yeah. All of those things that were holding me back and I didn't realize. Right? So that awareness of, number one, what it feels like to feel when you're in alignment and you're doing things the way that, you know, makes you feel happy and joyful, and you know it's working, and that feeling of flow. Yes. Right? Flow. Yeah. And also the awareness of, I'm not in flow, something's wrong, what is this? And how to, you know, at least one or 10 different methods or options that you've given me for going, okay, how am I going to deal with this? What is at the root cause of this problem, and that sort of stuff, which fits completely with the way that I work anyway. It was just, you know, self-awareness.
Well, and also it's easier to do it for someone else than to do it for yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if it's around your health and around my own health, I can see that, no problem. But around my business organization, I couldn't always see it, because I just, like I said, as a business owner, I'm learning. Right. And so you've got ideas about what you can and can't do in business and who you should talk to. And some people say, tell everybody your ideas. And some people say, tell nobody your ideas. They've got to be secretive. And it's just like, and there's all these rules and things that you come into, and you're never really sure what you can and can't do, or what you should or shouldn't spend money on. And it's just like, forget it. Just do what feels right and in flow. Right. Yes. And focusing on not so much the big plan, like take your time to do your big planning, of course. I think everybody needs to, but from the mindset piece, it was, what is the next obvious step that feels right? Yes. Right? Just one baby step in the right direction. That might, on some days, it's just cleaning off my desk. Right.
Right? That's important. Right? Yes.
On other days, it's, okay, I'm going to put together a new marketing strategy or tactic or something like that and get it printed and out the door by the end of the week, or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I think those two big things were, like I said, learning to work in flow. Yeah. And also my relationship with money. Yeah. Right. Big. From the mindset piece, so important.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you mentioned those, because when it comes to flow, particularly, I think a lot of people struggle with it because, again, from a societal point of view, we're taught that you have to work.
Yeah.
Whereas flow is about doing what feels good, which sometimes doesn't mean work. Yeah. And then as entrepreneurs, we hear the bootstrapping. And to be honest, you do work a lot when you're an entrepreneur, especially in the first few years. Like, there's no getting around it.
Yeah.
I mean, however, it can be so much more enjoyable when you work in flow, when you are able to actually give yourself permission to take breaks, which everyone should be, even though you feel like you should be doing more.
Oh, the power of break taking. When I actually bit the bullet and said, okay, I'm not a superwoman. I need some time for myself and self-care. What a difference it made. You come back out of a 10-minute downtime, whether you meditate or go for a run or, go talk to somebody at a water cooler. It doesn't matter what you do. That short little break and context switching out of the intensity of whatever it is you're doing, even if it's between patients, right? That's something I started doing recently after, I believe it was you and I had talked, was booking in 10 or 15 minutes between patients. And it has made such a difference to me in terms of my workflow. I can leave one visit, close it down, and be completely present for the next visit without, right? Which is operations as well as, Jennifer's not just marketing, she's everything. She gives you nuggets on all sorts of things because she runs a business herself, right? Yeah. And you get that. I get that.
Well, it wasn't always easy, and we all have even things like that. Like, I think the biggest thing I noticed is everyone's different. So some people are go, and they like that, and then they need the break. And other people need it in between. I think you got to find what works best for you.
Yeah, sort of your work style. I know
your work style,
I know I tend to work in fits and starts, and when I stop, I'm in park.
Right.
Right?
There is no moving.
And that's how I prefer to work. So trying to put things together that way and create a model that worked not just from a profit standpoint, but also from the standpoint of work for me and my work style and my who I am and what my unique talents and gifts are. To find the crossover of those two things was just like, because prior to that, I don't know, I was throwing money out the door on all sorts of things, and it wasn't very targeted, and I was getting no traction. Right.
So, okay, we'll do a quick recap and see if we got anything else. So, the three biggest things we talked about today was identifying your target niche, which was really powerful for you.
Huge. Yeah.
Especially, I can see for naturopathic doctor, actually, all coaches, because you feel like you can help everyone with every problem. Yeah. But, and you can. It's just not going to get you very far from a profitability standpoint. Right.
You'll be too watered down. And I had something, I don't know if it was you or someone else said to me, it was about the pit, and I said, well, I was afraid to pigeonhole myself. And they said, well, who cares? Pigeonhole yourself for the first bit, conquer that niche, and then move to the next one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's my philosophy is, it's so
divide
much.
And conquer.
Well, so if you're well known for helping women and and then you say to your, huge fine. So if it's in 2 years' time, say, so you have this massive following in the women's niche, and then you say, okay, ladies, I'm offering a new service, and this one is for the men in your life. Yeah. Well, guess what? It's going to work. Why? Because now all these happy clients and easily refer, in this case, their husbands or brothers or whomever. From that niche over. So it's you've got the clout. Absolutely. Then. Right? You've got the clout.
And you've created a network for yourself from which you can draw and springboard from, but you're not going to go anywhere if you don't have that network or platform to spring off of.
Exactly.
Right? In the first place.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, good. I kind of hijacked your recap.
No, that's good. That's good. But that's I hope that I'm sure there are people out there who really get that because they feel like it stifles them, but it actually is going to allow you to grow faster so that if you do want to do multiple things, you will have more traction, you'll have more money to do things from, more help, and you'll be more, I guess, aligned, because once you have gotten your handle on one area of your business, it's much easier to open up the rest. Yeah. So it was that one, and then in the mindset, it was really moving, I guess, from a money mindset of scarcity to a money mindset of abundance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it was also from working in a state of disalignment to a state of alignment and flow, and learning to really trust your gut.
Yeah.
That was your biggest one. And which ultimately is the process of moving from your head to your heart.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So was there anything else that you can think of, or those kind of the main things?
From the mindset piece, or?
From any of it, before we close off here, if there's anything else.
Anything else that was a really big shift?
And if you're thinking about, so a coach who's watching and she or he hasn't yet gotten to full-time and they're wanting to take that leap, what would be your final words of advice?
Get your business systems in place first.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. If there's any piece of advice I could give to anybody, whether, it's one of your clients or just somebody watching, would be, if it's tedious and I'm not saying put together policy manuals, although some people would tell you to do that. That's not what I mean. But think about your customer's experience, what it is that they're going to experience in the process of working with you. And have that system put into place and codified in such a way that they move from, well, they just clicked on my website, to, oh, look, there's this button, to whether it's online that way, or, okay, well, my patient wants to book a consult, and they go from, well, which way are they coming in? Are they clicking? Are they calling? And what does the next step look like? And right down to, how am I going to automatically send them a reminder email? If you put those systems in place first, from the perspective of your client, and then second, the systems that are your back end in terms of, how am I going to make sure the payment is processed? How am I going to make sure that the file gets updated? How am I going to make sure that my marketing gets done every week when, you're super busy? Well, you put it into a system, and this is what it looks like. And so at the end of the day, you can get a process of going, check, check, check. These are the steps to a visit. Check, check, check. These are the steps to a successful marketing week. Check, check, check. These are the steps to a successful bringing my books to the accountant, and she's not going to get mad at me. Right?
That's a good one. Yeah.
All of those, if you want to go full-time, get the systems in place while you're part-time, so that because when you're full-time, you're flat out, you're not going to have time to create those systems and reboot them. And you don't want to fall flat on your face, right? And I think that, well, it's not technically marketing work, so to speak. That habit that I learned from you and from some of the other people that I was put into contact with as a result of working with you, that habit has made all the difference. Yeah, right.
That's a big one. I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, that would
Laura's
be
right. Good job.
I love being right.
No, but it's true, because it also helps fuel your confidence, because you know how things work. You come off as more professional. You're not sort of floundering in front of clients or potential clients. And it just...
Exactly. And somebody at the end of a talk will come up and say, Jennifer, I really want to work with you. And you go, that's excellent. No sweat. And if you don't have anything else to say, great, this is how you do it. I have package A, B, and C. Right. Then they just take your card and they leave, and they may or may not call later. Right. Right? Yeah. Or they'll give you their card and you have to follow up with them, which puts the ball back in your court, which I suppose in some business models is good, but it's very energy intensive for yourself. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So systemize and automate. Yes. Where possible.
Right. No, true. Yeah. Absolutely. And then it helps fuel when you go into phase 2, like you're going into now. So you have that.
Phase 2. Phase 2 is the phase where I start to hire help and expand.
That's very exciting.
I know.
But so many coaches would like to just get to that point, right? To get to your position. And I think it's totally doable for people. You just need a little patience.
Yeah. And if you had told me, Laura, in a year and a half's time, you'll be so full, you'd be looking for help, I would have said, yeah, right, that's not the growth curve for my industry.
Right.
Right? Based on other people's, what they've told me. But because...
No, we've blown them out of the water.
My curve is a little steeper. It's really great.
But I will say, and we're going to clue up now, but I will say, because I've known Laura now for about a year and a half, you know, she was really stubborn on some certain things. But she still showed up. She did the work.
Yeah.
It's not like she was on clouds all the time. I mean, you know, she did the work. You did the work, and it has paid off in big ways. And I mean, really, you're at the beginning of your career.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? In 5 years, I need to come back in 5 years.
The 5-year interview.
Right? I mean, this is just getting started. You're getting revved up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing, and the growth that's, you know, the habits that I learned from you, I know will go the full way. Even if the marketing changes, even if some of the words change, even if my online presence or whatever, or the actual product, or in terms of service packages or whatever changes, I know that the habits that you helped me put in place and my understanding of how to tailor a message so that it reaches your ideal client. We're back to the ideal client.
Ideal client.
Ideal client.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so that
big.
it reaches your ideal client. How to do that. How to find out what it is they respond to. I wouldn't have even known how to do that.
Right.
I would have written it from the standpoint of a doctor being like if a doctor had been reading my brochure, yeah, absolutely. They'd be like, she knows what she's talking about. And if a patient had been reading my brochure, they'd be like, this is too advanced for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, because your ideal client is never in your position.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I now love to hear your comments and feedback. If you have questions for Laura, I know she'll happily answer them. Absolutely. Yeah. And also I'd love to know what out of this interview you really really sparked you and you thought, I need to do that. And I would like to know what that is. So, and I also want to thank Laura, Dr. Laura Nurse. You can look her up. She also, by the way, even if you're not here locally, she has the Estrogen Diaries.
Yeah, it's kind of being renamed.
Renamed? Okay.
I have a blog.
She has a blog. It's super great. Lots of great information. Yeah. So please tell everyone where they can find you.
www.doctor, which is drlauranurse.ca.
Dr. Nurse.
drlauranurse.ca. I've got my blog is up there. There's always new updates. There's actually an ongoing thing called the Zero Sugar Challenge that Jennifer helped me put together.
Awesome.
That will repeat itself a couple of times, and it's always being updated. I'll probably run it once or twice a year, so that's always a fun one to get people started with a naturopathic lifestyle.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
great. It is. It's good.
She helped.
No, she did other work. But it is great. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we will see you guys next time. And don't forget to comment and let us know your questions and what you thought.
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay. Bye.